thefam.news.
Dr. Kimberly Lemke, my favorite sleep wellness champion, is here with a big announcement. It is a partnership between the Drift Sleep and Wellness Institute and the FAM. Get ready to unlock your sales team's ability to become sleep guide certified. I could not be more excited about this game-changing collaboration. The FAM podcast starts right now. Hey, are you a mattress retailer looking to supercharge your business? Introducing Podium, your secret weapon. I use it, I'm a huge fan of it, and with Podium's AI-powered lead conversion, you can engage with customers in seconds via text, making it feel like they're talking to a friend. But hey, that's just the beginning. Podium offers texting, payments, reviews, website chat, and more, all in one place. You've got to be the most responsive retailer to help customers solve those sleep problems in the moment. Harness the power of Podium today and start growing your business. Visit podium.com right now to learn more.
Welcome to the FAM podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Welcome to the FAM podcast. Dr. Kimberly Lemke, she is a renowned clinical psychologist, enterprising Women of the Year award winner, sleep science coach, and creator of the Drift Sleep and Wellness Institute. And she's my friend, FAM, and now partner in this exciting new program. Dr. Kim, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for what we're doing in this industry. So excited.
Behind the scenes, we've been cooking up this idea for what's going to be called FAM Plus Platinum. So there are 3 different levels, but at the platinum level, you and I have launched in my opinion, is a program that's going to create sleep selling superstars. Because when somebody comes in to buy a mattress, a lot of times they're having sleep problems. Even if that advertisement for a $5.99 queen set got them in the door, once they get in the door, it's your opportunity to have a purposeful conversation about sleep and change the trajectory of that person's life. But you got to be able to confidently talk about sleep. And you and I have been having this conversation, gosh, at this point for years. And we decided to do something about it. So this is it. We are here.
I think the coolest part is not only did we see the need, but people kept reaching out to us, asking for it, that it was, consistent questions in terms of how do we discuss this or how do we talk about sleep? Or if somebody walks in and asks me a question about sleep, right, how do I answer? What do I say to that? And so that's what is also so exciting, is that it's something that I know that they have been asking for, which is give us the language, give us things that we can actually sound like we know how to talk about sleep in an engaging way and not a boring scientific way, but something that like somebody can come in and you can have a conversation that creates a connection. And that's where it's all at. So I'm so excited for it.
Well, I'm so excited too. And if you rewind even a little bit more, not only is our industry truly trying to have a more meaningful conversation that's not price and item. They want to talk about sleep and they want to help that person have a good sleep health life. And this could be, they buy a new mattress and they keep getting bad sleep and they could blame it on the retailer. But here we are working not only on those consumer conversations, but you and I decided, hey, we got to get them sleeping. We got to get the RSAs, the retail managers, our industry sleeping well, because if you're a chef and you won't eat your own cooking, how can you expect anybody else to be excited about that meal? And I think that's where we're at. And so as part of the FAM Plus Platinum membership, you're not only going to be able to develop your ability to talk to consumers, you're going to develop your ability to sleep better with your coaching and with your program, the Drift course. Talk about, being the person that gets their good sleep first before we go out to the rest of the world.
So if you look at just any statistic, and I'm going to keep statistics short because they're boring, but right, if you look at any statistics, right, that talk about how sleep affects people's lives, just on an individual level, you have 85% higher healthcare costs. So I don't know about you, but like the deductibles, the copays, everything, it adds up. And so when you have poor sleep, We see people paying and organizations paying 85% higher healthcare costs because you're on different meds, right? And then you bring in people who go onto sleeping pills and those sort of things, and that increases that even more. You have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, you have so many issues. You have lost productivity. So many people in this industry and other industries and just people in general, right? Like want to be productive and reach their goals. 30% higher chance of reaching your goals if you sleep well. So I don't care if your goal is, again, I'm a single mom of twins. I don't care if your goal is to be able to go out today and play pickleball and just lose, which I will to my 13-year-old twins, right? Or if your goal is to build an empire, right? Like whatever your goal is, you have a 30% higher chance reaching it with good sleep. And so there's so many things that you look at and you say, if we're not doing it for ourselves, like how do we even bring it to anybody else? And so just everybody, even, I tell people all the time, think about your values and think about your goals. You have a 30% higher chance, even if you do nothing else but sleep better. So let's get them sleeping.
Let's get them sleeping. Gosh, that is a staggering statistic. Not only the 85%, but 30% more likely to reach your goals. So think about that. I mean, you got some really sharp accounting minds listening to this podcast because they're great business people. If you were to calculate, hey, my goal is to hit X number of sales today, and you increase your chances of reaching that sales goal by 30% just because your people are sleeping better, I would take that bet all day long, and I would make that investment all day long. And really, this is one of the beautiful things. Whenever you join Fan Plus Platinum, you unlock 6 annual deep dive webinar style conversations with Dr. Kim and myself. Then we're going to do in every other month. So we're going to have a monthly engagement where we're doing our in-house experts in between the 6 annual calls or webinars that we're going to do between Dr. Kim and myself. And that's to continue to keep you refreshed on this knowledge, up to date on what's changing, and to make sure that you're internalizing that information in a way that can position you as that certified sleep guide. Now, in addition to that, whenever you join Fan Plus Platinum, you get the ability to unlock the Drift course. This is the online course component that's going to lead to your ability to get that printable plaque at the end that's going to make sure it says you're sleep guide certified. And that's going to be a big differentiator for a lot of people. And it's going to be that confidence booster so that you can have an intelligent conversation with the consumer. Look, we're not here to prescribe, but we're here to guide. We're not here to diagnose, but we are here to change trajectory for people. And I think once we embrace that mission, it's going to fundamentally change how we think about this industry and how your people think about their day-to-day interactions. Because somebody comes in once every 10 years, and that's your chance to have a conversation that can change their lives. That's an important conversation. You better be ready for it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think, to distinguish yourself, you have to have a competitive edge in whichever industry you're in. And so I literally, we can teach them how to sleep drift style, and I can have them lay on a park bench and put a newspaper over them and they will sleep well. Right. And so it's very hard then to all of the amazing things that you guys build in, which is super important into a mattress to help with the comfort and with everything you do, the cooling and all that, which is critical to comfort and a good night's sleep. It becomes really hard for people to invest in that when you have the image in their mind of people they've driven by before who sleep in a tent beautifully, right? Who can sleep on a bench, out when they're, taking a break from work or whatever it is. And so it's really that idea of how do we have conversations with people so that they can change their days? My biggest thing is sleep is a daytime issue. I'm so Italian. I'm trying to keep my hands. I'm trying to keep them down.
It's all right. Talk with your hands. Make a move.
No, I know. You know what? I'm going to spill something though, but I'm going to own it. But a part of it, right, becomes how do you have these conversations with people? And I talk about it as sleep balloon. And anybody, if you've heard me talk before, this is sort of the most critical part that I talk about is, right, what are we doing during the day to build these sleep chemicals? And we don't get into them and we don't talk about them because it's lame, but that's how we sleep. And then you use it at night, and then you build it again in the morning and you use it at night. And so if we're just waiting until bedtime to try to sleep, we're going to lose, right? It's like a football game. You're playing the fourth quarter and you forget to play the first 3. So we want people, and that's where I think, we've worked really sort of hard and with so much passion on, we want to help everybody in this industry play all 4 quarters. They need everything that you guys provide, and they got to play those first 3 quarters too. And when you play all four, that's when people sleep, and they sleep well. And then they live better lives. I mean, think about when you're sleep deprived, you just don't feel as good. You just, honestly, you're not as good as a human. I'm crabbier, right? I totally would, my kids would agree with this, right? Like, I mean, it's just, we are, right? We're crabbier. We prejudge things. People come into your stores, your customers, who, to your point, you get them once every maybe 10 years. And if you've had a poor night's sleep and they walk in and they're good, but you judge them as being like not ready to buy, or they look crabby, they look like a difficult customer, then you lose the sale just based on what poor sleep does to how you read people's cues. And so it's really about, right, how do you create an environment for a customer, and how do you create an environment sort of literally for yourself to maximize that sale?
We're talking with Dr. Kimberly Lemke. We're talking about the FAM Plus Platinum membership that is just launching. I should tell you, you can go to thefam.com, just like in family, thefam.com, and there's going to be a button right at the very top that says FAM Plus. Click on that. It's going to allow you to get signed up. Sign up yourself, sign up your retail managers, sign up your RSAs, get into that Drift course, and then just know that we're going to be doing the first kickoff call with Dr. Kim and myself. Uh-oh, I got the date here. What is the date? Is it
June 13th? I feel like it's
June
my best
13th?
friend. Yeah.
June 13th. So we're going to have our first sleep guide live webinar with Dr. Kim and myself at 10 a.m. on June 13th. You don't want to miss it, but you got to be signed up for FAM Plus in advance of that so you can unlock all the magic. And I will say, to supplement what Dr. Kim is talking about with our Drift program, the Sleep Guide live webinars, you're going to get $100 savings instantly on the Drift Sleep Guide certified course that's behind the wall there, lovingly waiting on you. But also every other month, outside of those 6 engagements we're going to have the FAM's in-house experts 6 times a year. So every month we're going to be meeting to up your game, and 15% off Sleep Summit tickets, access to the FAM Hub online community. We're also adding exclusive discounts and perks to save on financing, software, technology. And here's the other differentiator, just like what we're doing here with the partnership between Drift, Dr. Kim, myself, and the FAM. Whenever we add technology or software, it's not just going to be something we put up there and put behind the wall. We're going to have the representatives from those companies come on our in-house experts calls to help you use it to make your business better, instead of it just sitting there and you clicking the same old buttons or underutilizing what you've invested in. So all that's going to be there. Now, on top of that, here's one thing I really, really love. At the FAM Plus Platinum level, after every call, we're using the power of AI with some human eyes to provide you with recap reports packed with insights, ideas, and tactics you can apply in your business. So yeah, you're going to be on the call with your team, and everybody's going to be engaged in Drift, and we're going to be learning from Dr. Kim, and I'm going to be the translator that helps you apply that at the retail level. And then you step away and you're like, wait a minute, what did I just learn? Hold on a second. Well, don't worry about that, because as part of your membership, we're going to provide you with those recap reports that are not just summaries. We're actually going to include actionable ideas. And speaking of action, I got to get your hot takes here, because you came to Dream Camp and we did the very first ever Dream Camp Founders Breakfast, which is going to be a staple from now on. We had the founder of Podium, Dennis Steele, come out to Palm Springs and talk about his journey in creating Podium with his co-founder, Eric Ray, different Eric Ray for you mattress people. And then all the struggles and challenges and what went into that. Founders Breakfast on the next day was the amazing Dr. Kimberly Ann Lemke. And I loved that you talked about how boring most sleep information is. And you said something that tickled me. It was, you can take all the melatonin you want at the end of the night, and you can spray the lavender all over your pillow, but sleep is a daytime issue. And if you don't fill up that sleep balloon, you're toast. What was the reaction from people after you gave your Founders Breakfast speech?
First of all, I adore Dream Camp, and I adore the people there, and I adore the people that I've met, even at Sleep Summit and everywhere. It's just, y'all are just amazing humans, and there was so much like follow up after that of like, Oh my gosh, yes, right? Like we focus so much here that we didn't even think about it, right? We didn't even think about like, are we letting sunlight into our store? Like, or do we have it blocked up with posters? And can you walk past an open window and say to the, customer, hey, did you know we left that window open to help your sleep? And they're gonna be like, that makes no sense. And then you can have a conversation about why, right? Because it's a daytime issue. The fact that you're helping them get light in that moment to build those sleep chemicals helps them sleep better. And so what I loved about Dream Camp is just it was a new way of thinking about it for so many people. And the other part that truly I loved, right, is again, I have a history as a clinical psychologist. I still, run a practice out in Naperville. So connecting with humans is my passion. It's my passion, right? And understanding pain points and speaking to it is, I always tell the story. I was 4 years old and lining my Barbies up on a couch, right? And asking them how they felt. So, it's like my story that follows me. And I feel like at Dream Camp, what was great too is that even after talking about it, people came up to me and asked me their own specific sleep issues, right? Which was, wow, I didn't think about this, when it comes to my kids, can we apply this to my kids? Or like, hey, how would I design my sort of showcase differently in this, right? Or my showroom differently? Like, how would I even do that, right? Or, hey, if I don't have windows in my office, how would I do some of this stuff? And that's what I love about it, right? Is how do we take the material, right? How do we take what we learn and then apply it? I go to so many trainings. I'm sure you do as well. I mean, the amount of trainings I have to go through. And I leave and I'm like, I don't even know how to apply that. I could have just walked out of the room and been like, I literally don't even know what to do with this now. It sounds great, but I don't know what to do with it. And so what I loved about Dream Camp is that people were already figuring out how to apply it. And that's my passion is let's take complicated and yet important topics. Let's boil it down. Let's make it super manageable. And then let's go use it.
And that was one of the huge things that I've thought about a lot in this industry and just in my life, like you talked about, is you go to these events or these conferences, and I always want to provide a pathway forward for people so that you don't have this moment of inspiration or insight, and then you go back and you do nothing with it. And I think that's why the Fan Plus Platinum membership to me is so important. It's like, it's not only a pathway forward, out of Dream Camp or out of Sleep Summit or out of, some of the other events the fam does. It is truly that constant reminder that we all need. We all need evidence of who we are or who we're trying to become consistently brought into your life so you can make those changes. And so that's why I'm like, hey, we're going to be consistent for you with our Sleep Guide Live webinars. We're going to be consistent for you in the forum. We have a private community, and Dr. Kim and myself are both going to be in there. And when you have those individual questions, here's the cool part. Like, okay, great. I got all this information, Dr. Kim. This is cool. But hold on, I ran into this little barrier and I'm not sure what to do. Just like you talked about, we're going to be there for you. That's why this is even more meaningful, because we want to get them sleeping.
Get them sleeping. Get them sleeping. And what I love too is that I think you and I think so many people at Dream Camp shared that vision, right? Which is, let's not have this be a one and done. I don't know anybody who left that Dream Camp who isn't planning on, going every year to it, right? Because of the connections. And, kudos to you, for building that the way you did. And, I think people felt so connected to each other and felt vulnerable. I think you created a space where people were vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you can learn. Right. And so I love that you created that. And so that was something that's important to both you and I think, which is, let's allow people to be vulnerable. Ask a question that you might think is stupid. I am the queen of stupid. I love it, right? Like the stupider, the better, right? Because I might be like, I don't know, I never even thought of that either, right? And so it's that idea of like, bring us your vulnerability, bring us your questions, right? That, people who show up, I think, who feel like they always have to have it all together, be, the top person in the field, the top entrepreneur, the top, but let's not, right? Let's show up and be like, hey, I don't quite get this. Fabulous. Let's chat about it. Right. Or, hey, these other people seem to get this on the down low. Like, can you help me understand that sleep balloon better? Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. So I'm a fan of also creating this sort of environment for vulnerability where people can learn and grow and bring their authentic selves in to learn.
Yeah. My friend Doug always said, people connect with your vulnerabilities, not your victories. And like you said, this is a space and a place where you can come in and ask that question that probably everybody else has, and they're not asking it, and you're going to get it answered. And I just, I think back to the moment after your founder's breakfast speech when we started doing Q&A, and we were expressing this idea that it's important to check in with your team members. We work in the mattress and sleep industry. That's how I describe it. And we were talking about checking in with your own RSAs and retail managers. How are they sleeping? And I remember the founder of Mattress Firm, our friend Harry Roberts, chimed in and was vulnerable in that moment. He said, as long as I've been in this business, I have not checked on my people and said, how are you sleeping? And I thought, man, for Harry to say that, number one, it just showed that he truly does want to connect with people and wants to continue to elevate this industry and his business. But also it was probably representative of so many people who aren't checking in with their people, maybe they don't have a pathway for the training. And that's why Dr. Kim and the fam and Drift, and we've all teamed up, is like, okay, we got to be the change. Now's the time. We got to do it.
And if you think it's right, sleep isn't that important of a topic to bring up to the people who come into your stores, right? Let me know if you've ever heard of something called the Oura Ring, right? Like, let me know if you've ever heard of, something called, Tylenol PM, right? Like, these are Fitbits, right? Any of those sort of things. This is a thing right now. This is a huge thing. And it's not because, oh my gosh, we just learned about sleep that it's important, but people are starting to see the importance of it. And it's not going away. This isn't a fad, right? This isn't based on a year-long data, right? This is based on as long as humans have existed and slept, right? Like, this is where we're at. It just took us a while to get there. And now we're here, and it's not going away. It's only going to get more important to be able to understand it and have a common language to speak about it. And so, when Harry, who, is one of the champions of making people better, which is why he's, I adore him. It's this idea of, right, if I ask that question to one of my people, I don't know how to answer. Like, if they say I sleep really poorly, like, what are you going to do with that then? Right. Like, all right, good seeing you. Right. Like, we have to, before we ask a question, we have to somewhat know how we can respond. Otherwise, we're too anxious to ask the question. We don't even think about it. So that's another part too, is like, how do you even ask these questions? And in order to ask them, we're going to give you some fundamental knowledge in terms of where to go with it so that you can ask those questions and not sort of shy away from a response.
And you're going to be able to do it in a way that is fun and caring. And that's what I love about the way that you teach and train, is it's not boring, and it doesn't get into all the different little chemicals that build up and trying to be too sciencey about it. I mean, anybody in the mattress industry knows when you start what we call spec speak, you're going to lose people. It's similar in sleep speak. You want to be able to talk about concepts. Now, I love a need to know, want to know expert type of learning path. And once you get exposed to these ideas, and if you personally want to go down that path and learn more and understand it on a deeper level, you're going to have the fundamental and foundational exposure that's going to lead you in the right direction for your knowledge expansion, instead of going down a path that's like, okay, I'm in this rabbit hole, and now how do I actually say this to somebody at the moment of that sale and not lose them because I'm talking about a bunch of junk they don't understand. You want to put that person on a path when they leave your store with their new mattress to better sleep. And there are some key ways that you're going to do it. And we're going to reveal those in the Fan Plus Platinum membership when you get into Drift, the course, and you get Sleep Guide certified. And then you're going to come back and you're going to talk to Dr. Kim in the Sleep Guide live webinars and in the chat. And that way you're growing and going instead of remaining static. Because what happens now is I'm concerned about your trajectory as a person now. And that's what we want to improve. That's what we want to enhance.
Absolutely. And I think the other component too that struck me with Dream Camp is how many people didn't sleep. Like, in that room, I can think of maybe 2 people within that entire group that were like, I'm a good sleeper. But they're like, my spouse doesn't sleep well. Right? Like, they might have been a good sleeper, but like, they're like, but my kids don't sleep, or whatever it is. And it stands out to me in almost any industry, but specifically sort of Dream Camp and Sleep Summit, the amount of individuals who are like, we sell mattresses, we sell good sleep, we don't sleep. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's about, it's like, and trust me, like there are times that I do not follow my own advice, right? Like where I'll be like, the phone is on and I'm checking email way too late, right? Or, it's a little bit too close to bedtime and, it's a Friday and I'm having a glass of wine or whatever. But it's sort of that idea, right? Of like, how do we look at these things and say, how do I live this though as a strategy, right? It's not going to be every single day that you're going to get perfect sleep. And the more rigid actually we get about it, the more anxious we get. And then the less sleep we get, right? So, it's this idea of like, we have to create and we have to understand how to do it in a very livable way. And to your point earlier, if you want to deep dive into something else, man, I got resources. My colleagues, a lot of my colleagues do the research in Canada. Like I can find you, if you want a deep dive, I can get you in a deep dive. But let's just first ask like a simple question, like Harry said, which is like, how are you sleeping? Right? Like, let's start there. But man, I'll deep dive like a champion with you. I'm in it.
Can I share my secret? I have a secret. Can I share it?
Please.
It's a secret mission, and I sometimes bring it back to the surface, but I don't think I've said it in a while. My secret mission is, I think the mattress industry can be the global vehicle for sleep health improvement. I truly believe it. And that's why I want everybody to get this knowledge they need, because here's what's happening. Pill companies continue to advertise on TV saying, this is how you sleep, but they knock you out and they keep you out of deep REM rest. CBD gummies and marijuana gummies and all these different ingestibles, they're out there saying, hey, we're the way to sleep better. And the rings and the fitness trackers are saying, we're the way to sleep better. And I believe that true knowledge about sleep and filling up the sleep balloon and not doing it with all these different artificial ideas or suggestions, I think there's a real way to do it. And I think we can become the vehicle for global sleep and wellness, because 10% of people are coming into the market for a mattress at any moment. So every time we can change that 10% trajectory through the conversations we have, through the knowledge we're able to impart, through at least asking the right questions so they're thinking about it in a different way, then they can unlock what is the foundation of health and wellness, which is sleep. The foundation, the pillars of mental wellness and nutrition and fitness, they all benefit and improve whenever you have a foundation of good sleep. So that's my little secret. And I think that this is the start and the spark. And you're a huge part of this just because of the passion that you've shown and the way that you've lived this. And I love the relationships you have with people in our industry, and I know they love you.
I truly mean this, right? I consult with a lot of organizations and a lot of groups, and there's something about your people that there's just an energy. I adore them. Like there's an authenticity. They're fun, right? Like, and I remember at Dream Camp, we went around and sort of talked about, sort of our biggest fears and I love that what stands out is just that they truly, really at the core want to also be good people who are spending their time and their energy in places that give value to things that matter to them. And that's what just stands out in your industry, Till. And I love y'all. I don't know what it is. I'm like, can you be like a mattress fan? I don't know, like groupie. Can I be a mattress? I don't know.
You can be a mattress groupie. I mean, if you announce that, it might sound a little strange to some people on the outside, but we get it.
It's a little weird, but I adore it. Maybe I'll come up with a different word, but something like that, where just your industry is, and it's so critical, right? Because your industry plays such a huge role in this, right? If people are uncomfortable while they're trying to sleep, right, then we know how that goes, right? If they're too hot, you guys understand what that, like the functionality of, the mattress and keeping comfort and snoring and minimizing snoring and, elevating and all of that is critical. And so I know, I don't think combining those two aspects of it, to your point, I think just takes over the world.
I think we can be that change. And I'm so excited about our partnership. If you're listening right now, go over to thefam.com. You can snag your Fam Plus Platinum membership where you get everything we talked about. You can learn more about it. There's going to be a big button up at the top of the website on thefam.com. And mark your calendars once you get your membership up and running, because at 10 a.m. Central on June 13th, our first Sleep Guide Live webinar with Dr. Kim and myself. I just want to say, Dr. Kim, you're an amazing human being. I love your heart for human beings, and that you chose to say yes to doing something in this industry where I think we can have that huge ripple effect. So thank you for everything. I'm just so excited. Thank you for your friendship. And I know that people can come and connect with you on LinkedIn. That's probably a really good spot. And we're going to kick this thing into high gear and get them sleeping.
Let's get them sleeping.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again for being on the show. We're going to have you back here pretty frequently as we talk about everything that unfolds on Fam Plus Platinum in the forums as people get Sleep Guide certified. This is going to be a really fun journey. If you have any questions, head over to thefam.com. You can text us there through our podium number. You can reach out via our contact form. You can get signed up for Fam Plus Platinum there. And thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, share this with your friends, share this with your team, and we will see you back here every Monday on the Fam Podcast.